0 for 3. That's the Hawks record in the last 3 weeks. I know you all know that. But you know how you guys can go 1 for 1 today? Is you go buy some Washed Up Walkons merchandise at washedupwalkons.itemorder.com. You have 5 days left, and then these designs might never come back again, all right? It's time to have a day, so let's have one. Let's go. Man, I wish that some of you listeners could just be in on our everyday conversations, because before we even started to hit record, Kevin and Drake were about to put the gloves on and do the pay-per-view. I was ready to see it.
I think this pay-per-view needs to happen. Kevin and I just need to punch each other in the face a few times.
Drake's already upset because Kevin got a real job. Drake's been giving Kevin shit for weeks now about not having a real job. Kevin goes and gets a real job, gets home late for work. He's just trying to, put food on the table for him and himself. And, it's late. Kevin, how was the first day?
It was eventful. Let's put it that way.
Kevin, why did you feel the need to ignore our text messages if you were just like in the car on your way home?
Yeah, I have you dumbasses muted because I'm dealing with important people and you guys are talking about literally the dumbest shit possible. So yeah, I have your conversation muted when I go to work.
So Kevin got a job. First day was today. I don't know what he does. He probably still doesn't even know what he does.
No, I still have no idea what I'm doing. Whatsoever.
Today was probably like a 7 to 7 day because it's his first day and he's trying to figure shit out.
How's it feel to be a super freshman again, Kevin?
You know what? It doesn't feel bad because I have a thing, you go to every day. It's, you add to society. You get paid every now and then. I think they call it a job. You should probably look into it.
Wow. Okay.
Kevin, stop while you're ahead. Stop while you're ahead. Yes, you are employed by somebody. Congratulations. I'm really happy that you got your first job. I hope that your debit card doesn't get declined tomorrow at dinner because obviously they haven't cut you a check yet. So not exactly sure where you're going to get the funds from, but yeah, congratulations on your first day of the real world.
I want to hear about the first day. What did we do today, Kevin? When did we wake up?
I woke up at 6.
Brutal.
Yeah,
I say oh God, but I'm waking up at like 5 to coach a CrossFit class tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean that's honestly probably a late day going forward here. Once I start covering cases and getting into ORs, like I know
you're saying that's late getting up.
Yeah, like they usually have like surgery starting at 6:30 and stuff like that, so they have to be in the hospital by 5:30.
So you're in the operating room?
Yeah, well, I have to get credentialed first, so I can't go into the ORs yet. But as soon as I get my credentials and stuff, yeah, I'm there with the surgeons in the OR. Yeah,
that's actually sweet.
You got to make sure all his products work how they're supposed to.
Right. My uncle does it. He does.
Yeah, he's the Depew guy, right?
Yeah, he does spine. He does all. Yeah, so he's been in he's had to come in at like 1 a.m. for like trauma stuff, like emergency surgeries. But anyway, so you woke up at 6, and do you have I text you, but obviously you clearly don't value our conversation because there's some important people in your life
at all.
now,
like
so,
now that he's got a real job, we're super unimportant to him.
Yeah, we've been put on the back burner. But do you have an office that you work out of?
No, not really. We our nearest corporate office is in Omaha. That's where this branch of salesmen is kind of I don't want to say based out of, but that's where they're headquartered, I guess.
And so you just drove around today, or you?
Yeah, so I drove around between hospitals, went up to Waterloo for a little bit. Met some people, shook some hands, just getting some FaceTime with a couple surgeons and some new reps. And
Do you have a company credit card?
do I have a company credit card?
Like that you buy doctor's lunch with, or do you have to do that on your own?
You know what? I think I will get one eventually.
Oh, cool.
Or
Can I put my gas on that?
What's
Where
up?
do you go, Drake?
I don't know. You just, you burn through gas driving around. I don't know. Just wondering if I could use as my gas card. I don't like paying for my own gas.
Gas is kind of
No.
cheap.
Gas gets reimbursed. I do not get a company credit card for gas.
Oh, okay. You know who doesn't want the gas or the smoke?
Who don't want to smoke?
The Hawks right now.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh man.
I guess I'll let you. I'll let you get into it then, Kluve.
I just saw it as a nice little teaser into it. People of the Washed Up Walkons community, we just very, very low motivation tonight. Kevin, like we said, literally is probably still in his shirt and tie. I just was about to tune into the CMAs. Drake, I don't know what he was doing, probably laying down with his dog.
Yeah, I really wasn't doing anything important. Just the day started to wind down.
Yeah,
So
we usually record this about 5:00 for those interested, and it's currently 7:40 as I speak. So it's a couple hours later, tired.
We're also lacking a little bit of motivation because our Hawks have just taken a fucking swan dive right onto their beaks, and and now we're left here to try and pick up the pieces because you guys look to us for answers and explanations.
Which for one, we don't have
them.
We don't have all the answers. That's the one thing I really want to clear up is we don't so many people. I don't know if you guys get the tweets, but because I kind of run I do the promoting of the podcast and I have all the followers that they seem to think that I know it all. And I just don't. Let's
ask the long snapper. He probably knows what's going on.
That's what I'm saying. I understand that I shed some light on the inside of some neat kind of scenarios and just how things work. Nothing crazy, but just some cool tidbits here and there. But with that has now come the end all be all questions of what's it going to take for the I'm getting the most absolute questions. I don't have the answers for you guys. Everything I say, it has validity, of course, because of the situation, but I don't know why Noah Fant isn't playing more. I don't know why we can't score any points. I don't know what the defense is doing. I hardly knew what was going on when I was on the team. This was my day, guys. I woke up, I went to a special teams meeting that I didn't need to be in. My job, the entirety of my job schematically for the Iowa Hawkeyes was field nut.
To bend over and look at your nuts.
Field nut. All right. Field nut means that in coverage on punt team, I was supposed to be on the field side of the returner. Okay. There was no block right or left. There was no. I just because we did it every day, I knew the formations of punt pretty well, but and I still fucked that one up. Northwestern, 2016, we had 10 guys out there. I knew the formation. I didn't see Riley McCarron out as a gunner. He had just come off the field on offense. I should have said something. I still didn't say something. We get a bad punt. They returned to his side. He wasn't there, of course. 11 on 10 seems to be a disadvantage most of the time. They set up field position. I probably lost that game for us. You can
no, because I have to take blame for that as well because I wasn't supposed to give you a cadence unless I knew everybody was on the field. Yeah. And I neglected to count because it was just kind of like one of those things. You just do it so many times, it feels like second nature. So I neglected to count, and then you did count, and then you still snapped the ball like an asshole.
Yeah.
So looks like we're both to blame there.
So clearly I don't know what I'm doing when it mattered, and now when it doesn't matter, I know even less. We're gonna get this out of the way first and foremost. If you guys think that we know anything about the Noah Fant situation, or that we even want to shed light on it, you're wrong, and we're not going to, because in all honesty, I don't know shit about coaching. Should Noah be in more or be used more? Probably, but it's not that easy, and I don't know. Don't ask me.
I guess the only light I can shed on this is that we don't know why Noah isn't in the game. We agree that he should be in the game because he's one of the best playmakers and matchup nightmares that any of us have ever seen. But we also know with 100% confidence that firing the head coach is not the answer. And I've seen way too many people talking about firing the head coach is what must need to happen because the Hawks can't figure it out and all this and that. And I can promise you that Iowa football would be in fucking misery for a while if they just up and fired the head coach.
Yeah. The one thing I want to say about it is, regardless of if Noah's on the field or not, or other people like to talk about it with Epinesa too, regardless of who's on the field, in the end, if the 11 guys on the field do their job, Iowa wins football games. That's just how it works. So it's not like it's just not that easy. What I'm saying is, even though Noah's not out there, the 11 guys that are, if they were playing better, Iowa would be winning football games. So yes, I get it. Whatever. I'm done talking about it. What I am going to talk about is our merch store, because that's cool. It's a brighter spot than the last 3 weeks for the Hawkeyes. You guys have showed out incredibly, like you have listening to the podcast. As we sit here, I don't have it pulled up, but it's something like 330 orders total. I think over 550 pieces of individual pieces of clothing. That's incredible. You guys obviously are amazing. We thank you for the support for the podcast and for the clothing brand merchandise that we're trying to get out there. We honestly, although none of us have put in our own order yet, we don't get them for free. But I really think that these clothes are going to be like super sick. Like they're going to be smooth.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to wearing my Hawks by a million sweatshirt regardless. Like, who cares about the outcome? Like, not only is that kind of our thing, but I'm damn proud to be a Hawk. So I'm really looking forward to wearing that around with pride.
Yeah. So that is obviously our number one way to support the podcast for you guys, because we get something out of it, and so do you guys. Other ways to support the podcast, just to insert it in there real quick so we can get past it: Venmo me at Tyler Kluver, PayPal me at paypal.me/Tyler Kluver, or you can subscribe to our Anchor page, anchor.fm. It's the link I post every week to Twitter when the episode comes out. Thank you all for who have donated. Incredibly generous. You know, these mics that we're all talking on, we sound much smoother than we did 3 weeks ago because of the donations that you guys have given us. That being said, who do we play? Northwestern?
Illinois?
No, who did we play?
Oh yeah, we played Northwestern.
They're going to go to the Big Ten Championship at 8-4, 7-5.
Yeah, they didn't win a single non-conference game, and then they decided to turn it on and go like 6-1 in the first 7 Big Ten games.
I don't want to take anything away from them because they have been playing good enough.
But we played like absolute dog shit.
I can't say they played. I can't say that Northwestern played good on Saturday. Like they're just if they
Dude, I can't even look at a single game all year which you can say they played good. They beat up on they beat a very injured and beat up Wisconsin team, and it was not a very good game. I mean, I can't look at one game that they've played all year and say that is a team that is playing very good football in all three phases. And the fact that Fat Fitzgerald and the Northwestern Kitty Cats are going to represent the West in the Big Ten title game just makes me want to puke all over myself.
Did you just call him Fat Fitzgerald?
I told you last week, man, he's got a dad bod. And he ran out on the field like complaining about some call, and like I saw there's some jiggle going on there. Like,
how does Kevin,
man, you got to get on the elliptical or something.
Every week, Kevin comes with a T-shirt quality quote. I mean, every week, PJ Fleck is a pussy. Trace McSorley is a douchebag. There was some during the Nebraska week. Fat Fitzgerald. I don't know how you do it, Kev, but like you're seriously eventually you're gonna have your own line of T-shirts that like.
Yeah, I'm gonna branch off, create my own podcast, sell my own merch. It's gonna be
it'll be way more successful.
Probably. You guys are holding me back.
So what I don't like about it,
I'm gonna wear a T-shirt that says Kevin Ward is a douchebag, and I'm gonna make 7 of them in all kinds of flamboyant colors, just because that represents Kevin's fucking personality. And everywhere I go, everybody's just gonna know that Kevin Ward is a douchebag.
I'll wear one of those shirts. Give me one.
I would wear one too, honestly. Maybe that'll be in the next run of merch. The thing about Northwestern is knowing what it feels like to go to the Big Ten championship in 2015 when we did that, it was such a special thing. And it doesn't take away from inside their program how special it is for them to actually accomplish something like that. And clearly the Big Ten games are what it's about, but they have to know that they're not
good
going to, like they're not gonna win. Like,
well, I mean, they played Michigan kind of tough earlier in the year, but the thing that just absolutely filths me is the fact that we have a team that, like Drake said, did not win a non-conference game, representing the Big Ten West as the best team in the West to win the Big Ten championship. The team that lost to Akron is supposed to be playing for the title of best team in the Big Ten. And that just makes me want to, puke all over myself.
I agree. Like knowing that they lost to the Fighting Tyler Uyghurs earlier in the season, or was that Purdue?
That was Purdue.
Oh, damn. Purdue. Sorry. Never mind.
Wow. Shout out Tyler Uyghurs, though. He's having a great
Shout out Uyghurs, though. Yeah. He tore Purdue up.
Yeah, I mean, he balled. I was going to say, don't like, I don't think we're not calling out Weeks here. Weeks is our guy.
No, not at all. I'm just saying that they lost to who should have been a inferior opponent, but I was wrong. I had the wrong team.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. You got to go back and look at it, but a team that you see play in person, kind of the eye test deal, along with what their record's going to be. I don't think we've ever had we've ever had a worse team represent one of the 2 slots in the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, this is kind of unprecedented territory.
Well, I think Michigan, didn't Wisconsin represent it one year at like 6-6? Because like Ohio State was like ineligible or something, and
I don't know.
Nebraska real bad in the Big Ten championship.
I have no idea because like I said, you'd have to go back and look at it, but it's just like, as a former player, knowing how those players feel, they get to go experience that. Happy for them. Great. Good for them.
All I know is that when Northwestern fans go to Indianapolis, they're not going to drink the city out of beer like the Iowa fans did.
No, absolutely not.
Time to fame.
Yeah, there's no chance. They're not. Michigan is going to. I mean, Michigan's scary, kind of.
Like the Michigan defense might actually like just like punish them, like rip their arms off and kill them with them type
Northwestern. Watching Northwestern play against an Iowa team Saturday that played like shit, and we still almost beat them. They only scored 14 points. I don't see how Northwestern scores at all versus Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way.
I'm going to take this opportunity. I think we said, 2 weeks ago that Michigan wouldn't be in the conversation for the college football playoff at the end of the year.
You said,
well, I'm a dumbass, and I was dead ass wrong because I don't see how they're going to lose because Ohio State isn't playing very well. I think they're going
at all. Ohio State's offense is kind of trash this year.
Yeah, they're not that good. So I would be surprised if Michigan doesn't end up running the table and finding a spot in the playoff, right? Honestly. So
that the thing is though, like how I don't know, it would be like pretty hairy if somehow something goes wrong in the SEC and Alabama doesn't win it, because then there's no way Michigan can get in over Nebraska. Or sorry, Notre Dame.
What?
Sorry.
Who the fuck? Nebraska?
Yeah,
Who is that?
I meant to say Notre Dame and Nebraska came out. I'm not sure what just happened.
Drake, for any Nebraska fans listening, just for the sake of trolling, you just gave them a major hard-on mentioning their name in the college football playoff.
Yeah, that was one of the worst slip-ups ever because they couldn't even beat Muscatine High School.
Yeah, there's maybe 5 or 10 people who live in Nebraska and listen to this. I highly doubt any fans do, especially after episode 3 where you actually put them in their grave. I just think that what I wanted to say was, even though Michigan might run the table here and go to the ship and do great things, it doesn't mean 1-to-1 ratio that they still have a good culture. And that's kind of what we talked about back when we were talking about Michigan maybe falling off. It means that they have an okay culture, because to sustain that, you do need some kind of base. It doesn't mean that they have a great culture, because talent overall is gonna show itself. I still don't think their culture is as good as Iowa's. Like I just don't. But I mean, we're biased.
But we don't really have too much substance to fall back on for that that conversation.
I mean, could be. I actually like Winovich, and I've seen a couple interviews with those guys. Like they're probably all good dudes. Maybe they have a great culture over there. Maybe Harbaugh's not as much of a weirdo as people think.
No, he's a weirdo. I'm never hearing that conversation. Harbaugh's a fucking weirdo.
He's a fucking weirdo.
Okay. Well, so that's that on the Northwestern stuff. We lost. We can't score points on offense. I don't.
I got one more thing to say. Take the arm sleeves off.
Who?
I don't know how many times running backs have been told not to wear sleeves. Because think, how dumb is this? Think about this. In the dry, cold air, a football is going to be a little slicker, right?
It's a lot slicker.
The dry, slick material of a jersey doesn't really create too much friction against the football. So let's take away the 1 point of contact that creates friction, which is your arm, and let's cover it with the slickest material you could possibly cover it with, and then go try and carry a football. Come on, don't be such a fucking idiot. Just take the sleeves off. You know what's cool? Scoring touchdowns. You know what's not cool? Fumbling the football. I
tweeted it out because a lot of people, some of the media, they like to tweet before the games. Oh, the DBs are out. Yada yada is wearing sleeves. No linemen in sleeves. Whatever, just for fun. And then I saw that and I kind of oh, this is a good bit for fans. And so I tweeted, guys don't wear sleeves because it's harder to secure the football. And what do you know? Fourth quarter rolls around, 2 fumbles. I don't think was who fumbled? Mackay and
Ivory.
And Ivory. Was Mackay wearing sleeves?
No.
Okay, but Nick Ivory was.
Yep.
I mean, I still love Ivory. It's just a thing. You got to do everything you can to kind of give yourself an advantage, especially when it's that cold. Looked frigid. I'm so glad I wasn't playing on Saturday.
Yeah, it was pretty cold out there. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Drake, you weren't.
So that
you went home, right? You weren't at the game.
Yeah. My feet were kicked up on the couch. I was nice and warm.
Sounds about right.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's Northwestern. Not a lot to say. You guys got anything else? I have nothing.
No, I want to move on really bad. I'm tired of talking about it.
Yeah, I'm over it. we're gonna do some rollover Q&A in a minute. Got a couple topics that I wrote down, just jotted down over the past week. Le'Veon Bell, Drake.
Boo. 2 thumbs down. Boo.
I know you drafted him first overall. How'd that work out for you?
Nope. And so, like, my roommate and I have talked about this. Like, what is his exact plan? Because, like, his leverage for this was that he was going to sit out a bunch of games to, like, prove his point, to keep the hits off his body, whatever. He was still going to make $8.5 million on the back half of the year, and then he would be eligible for free agency. Well, now he sat out the entire season. He's not eligible for free agency, and he never signed his franchise tag. So now the Steelers have his contract again and can give him the franchise tag again, and we may be in this exact same loop next year. Like, he doesn't now have contract leverage as a free agent. So I literally have no idea what he was doing.
See, the thing is, though, that, like, the Steelers aren't going to tag him because they don't want to pay him. They have a guy who's more productive and would cost a tenth of what Le'Veon costs. So, I mean, for them to tag him again would just be a complete dick move on their part, and it wouldn't even be beneficial to their team.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I think it's pretty hard to say James Conner is a more, like, efficient, more productive back. Like, yes, he is having.
That's saying he's more productive. I'm not saying he's more talented. I'm just saying he's been more productive.
He's good
this
enough.
Year he's been more productive, but, like,
Le'Veon
who knows?
Bell is not $10 million than James Conner, is what I'm saying.
I would agree. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
So I had one guy respond when we started talking about the NFL and fantasy football, and like, oh no, I got worried that you guys ran out of content. I was like, no, I just wanted to talk about fantasy football, and I want to talk about fantasy football again because this week I went for 135. LaShawn McCoy finally had a day. My receivers still had days. Mitch Trubisky had a day, and your boy, Full Send, had a day. That's my fantasy team name. So I'm back. I'm 4-6. We're going for a championship hunt late in the season here. We're going to sneak into the playoffs, and we're going to take it.
This is a story that you'll appreciate, Kluver. So Kevin, so obviously I have the mishap. I draft Le'Veon, and because of that, my team is not undefeated. I honestly think there'd be no other way to beat me if Le'Veon had played all year. So Kevin has probably the best team in the league, and he's done a bunch of trades. And I still think that he shamelessly finessed his brother into getting George in a tight end trade where he easily got the best end of the deal. It's not even close. Like, his brother got screwed in this deal. And I'm like, wow, you just took advantage of your brother, who's off being an engineer and, like, having a family and, having other important things on his mind. And you just got a ridiculous deal out of this. But Kevin claims that he wasn't colluding with his brother or finessing him or whatever. I still don't believe it. Anyways, Kevin's got the best team in the league. And the last thing I want, like, I do not care about losing a little bit of money in fantasy football at all. I just cannot stomach the idea of Kevin being the one to win the league.
Yeah.
And right now he's set up to win the league.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? In a last ditch effort, I beat his good buddy Brian Yonker, who we went to Vegas with. I beat him by like 50 points. And he's got like 3 wins all year. So I text him, I'm like, Yonks, look, you're not going to make the playoffs. Will you please trade me Kareem Hunt for a good price? Because neither of us can stand the idea of Kevin winning this league. Well, I didn't realize just how much loyalty Kevin's friends had to him because, well, being that I'm Kevin's friend and I don't like him very much, I don't quite understand it. So Yonks just leaves me on red. He never even responded to the text message. So, I mean, it looks like Kevin is probably just going to run away with this league, which just fills me to my absolute core. And I couldn't even get a text back. So that's my funny fantasy football story.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest. I loved every bit of that story. One, I did not collude with my brother because he actually won that trade this week because I traded away Ebron, who went for 30, and another guy who
Ebron's good.
Yeah, Ebron's good. And I got George. I mean, I'm so happy I got George back because.
Speaking of George, Is he? We got to get him on before he actually is too big of a deal for us.
No, listen to this. Listen to this. So he went on McAfee's show, and now PFT hit him up, I believe, to go on their podcast. Or no, Pardon My Take. Pardon My Take hit him up to go on that podcast. And then the other day, I texted him, "Good luck on the Sunday night game." And I was like, "I'll be," or was it Sunday or Monday night?
Monday
night. I was like, "Yeah, good luck tonight. You know, I'll be tuned in, watching you, see if you do anything sweet again." The dude couldn't even text me back. So he already got to the point where I think we missed our opportunity.
Right. So like that, and that brings me to something that multiple people wanted to know about is kind of the future of this podcast. A lot of people have been asking about guests. Obviously, that's a big thing in podcasting. Guests, we get that. We have a long list of people lined up. The problem is we want to try and save that for the out of season. Right now we have the weekly things to talk about. Kind of, we can throw in stuff like the NFL, how are our guys doing in the NFL, bigger things in the NFL like Le'Veon, how are the Hawks doing, what are the Hawks going to do, yada yada. When we get into the off season, and this kind of goes along with where the podcast is going, we'd like to continue it, right? We want to do this still weekly. If we had the time, obviously we could probably do it more than weekly, but we just simply don't have the time right now. Because especially with Kevin, he's a big time now. It's really his fault. Blame it on Kevin. But regardless, we're gonna have guests on. We just want to save it because that's gonna give us more content in the off season. And that'll help us out and still be able to produce longer episodes. Because at some point, you guys are going to not want to listen to us just talk about like inside jokes between us, things we used to do, stuff like that.
And here's the reality with all this stuff is that the three guys that you're listening to, out of all three of us, none of us are interesting at all. And so if we don't have Iowa football to talk about, then
honestly pretty true.
We basically have nothing interesting or intriguing, funny to say from our own lives, really, except for me and Kevin going back and forth trying to one up each other. But we would run out of content. So if we brought in guests all the time now, by the time we ran out of them, we would all be looking at each other like, well, now what do? We have people expecting content that we can't give them because we all suck as people. So
we suck.
We're going to try and keep that important shit, the fun, the guests, all the cool stories that they're going to bring. We're going to try and keep that for the off season so that maybe we can keep a show running for you guys at least once a week. So long as it fits in Kevin's schedule, which thank God we could fit it into Princess' schedule today, because I know that you guys were expecting an episode, and it would have been a real shame if one selfish asshole would have ruined it for all you guys.
Which, quite honestly, Kevin, I know you're going to refute that. You don't need to, because we know we get it. Honestly, Kevin was, he's late getting home from work. I was starting to feel it. We were very close, guys. We were very close to not recording this, and I don't know when it was going to happen, but it's happening now. That being said, for all those wanting the guests and wondering about the future of the podcast, that's kind of what's coming after the season. George, I promise, will be one of our first ones, as long as he's not too big time for us, which at that point, he very well could be in the Pro Bowl and we might be fucked. So
yeah, he's going to be at the Pro Bowl, but he is going to be on the podcast because he's asked me several times to please bring him on and please get him t-shirts and stuff like that. And I reminded him that he has an NFL contract, so I'm not buying him a t-shirt.
Yeah, don't buy him a t-shirt.
But we assure you that George Kittle will be a guest on the show eventually.
Yeah. Did you guys know that on iTunes, you guys don't know this, rhetorical question. We've actually had a lot of generous people rate us on iTunes. I think we have like something around 230 or maybe rising up to 250 at this point.
Yeah, it's around 250 or something.
And it's a 5-star. There's like maybe 5 people who have only rated us 3 or 4 stars.
And those are the only 5 people that are probably right.
Yeah, those clearly everyone else was on something. We appreciate all those, for sure. My point, one of the guys that left the actual review, he put some words down on us. This is what he said. These guys are clearly geniuses. I insist my kids listen to this Hawkeye wisdom, and then I quiz them afterwards.
Wow.
What a poor father to those kids.
Like, I'm sorry, sir, but if you knew any one of us, like, Kevin is a psychopath, and like that's kind of like his coined deal. And the worst part is I might be a bigger psychopath. And then you get to Kluve, who is by far the most normal out of all of us, but he's still quite a massive asshole. So yeah, we may not be the exact 3 role models that you want for your kids, but we really appreciate the kind words. That's pretty cool.
Could you imagine afterwards, like a dad and his like 9 and 7-year-old kid listen to the podcast, and then he's like, "Okay, kids, all right, here's the quiz. Who is a pussy? PJ Fleck. Who's a douchebag? Trace McSorley."
That would be absolutely classic, and I'll bet that their kids are going to grow up to be the toughest in their class. So, you know, they're learning from a young age to not take anybody's shit.
How was your day, Drake? What'd you do? As I pull up, I'm gonna stall here and pull up some Twitter stuff. Did you guys see Zion Williamson's dunk?
Which one?
On Twitter? The one that just happened like an hour ago?
Oh no.
His head was above the rim. Someone threw an oop to him from like half court. His head was above the rim.
Yeah, he's a sicko.
He's 6'7", 270.
Yeah. He's
he can put his nose above the rim. What a guy.
I'm so happy that all 3 of those guys committed to Duke, because my dad went to school at Duke, so he raised me a Duke basketball fan. So it's definitely awesome to see the Dukies getting it done. I was pulling for them real hard last year in the NCAA tournament, and they were like cardiac kids for the longest time, but just couldn't pull it out.
Yeah. This is probably the year for them. We got some Twitter.
This might be the year that they go undefeated.
Yeah, it could happen. Interesting one here from Twitter from last week. I don't know how this person. Well, I guess there was an article about it. What was it like having to wear the device that tracked your movement and sleep all the time? And just to preface that question, we didn't have to wear it all the time. They're talking about the ones that they have this year.
Yeah, they just got those this year. We didn't have.
They wear them all the time.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So and that's how they know that like Nate Stanley gets the most sleep and stuff like that.
So what we wore when we were there, because we can't really speak on those. That's interesting. I'd love to get a current player's opinion. When we have Brady Ross on, when he gets out, we'll talk to him about it. He'll probably have a great answer.
When he gets out. You made it sound like he's getting out of prison.
When he gets out of prison.
That's where that asshole belongs, is prison.
Well, I don't know. It could be a couple years.
He belongs. If we have any federal agents listening to this podcast, Brady Ross might be the guy you look into.
What we wore when we were on the inside, we wore a sleep tracker, and then the important guys wore GPS trackers during practice. But those were the only 2 times where people were being monitored. So the sleep tracker was whatever. You got used to it. You wore it around your chest. It didn't really mess with your sleep. You woke up, flip open your iPad, and you take a reading every morning. It was annoying if the Wi-Fi got messed up, but it wasn't that bad. I was a long snapper, so no one was tracking my top speed at practice. I was not wearing a GPS. That was a little more invasive. You had to wear literally a bra that the GPS tracker fit into, and then
that really wasn't a big deal though. Like you really didn't even notice it. Drake, did you wear one of those?
No, they weren't real worried about the fullback's top speed. And I broke my leg the year before, so they were really, really not interested in seeing how bad my top speed had fell.
Yeah, you weren't going to hit any numbers that impressed anyone.
No, I was not a track star when I came limping back into 2017.
Yeah. Austin Price from Twitter asked, as football players, did you guys ever associate with other athletes at Iowa? Yeah, we did.
All the time.
Athletes had to go to a bunch of like mandatory things for athletics. The worst one being the beginning of every year,
the student
the
athlete
Sunday
kickoff. Ugh.
Yeah, the Sunday night at like 5:30. They held it multiple places,
And it's like the Sunday after you get out of camp too. So like you're dog ass tired.
The day before classes open up.
The last thing you want to do is sit through like a 2-hour presentation or anything like that. And that's exactly what they make you do. It's awful.
Yeah, and all the athletes are there. Every sports team is there. And no matter if you're a freshman or a senior. So, we always saw every athlete at those, but then at least when we were there, the athlete culture was very supportive of each other. People went to other events all the time. I mean, obviously football's a big one. Everybody goes to football games, but you guys went to several gymnastics meets, of course, wrestling, basketball here and there. I went to a couple volleyball games over the course of, yeah, we talk to other athletes all the time.
I went to a couple swim meets as well. Those were pretty fun.
I'd say wrestling meets were the most fun for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree.
Iowan fans get so up for their wrestlers. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, wrestling meets are so sweet. That one was for last week. Somebody asked who's the bigger icon, Drake Kulik or Chris Hassel? And you responded to it and said, this isn't even worth discussing. I'm a loser.
I mean,
so there's your answer.
When you think about the context of that question, like Chris Hassel was like a personality on ESPN. Like he was an ESPN reporter and an anchor. Like he spent a bunch of time in front of the camera, like discussing real, like breaking sports news. I'm sitting here in my living room talking about the Hawks. Like we're just on completely different levels. So one of us made it to Iowa as, whatever I am, and then one of us made it to ESPN. So I guess that you guys can decide which one of us is more iconic. It's pretty easy.
Something funny I just came across also that happened last week for me and Kevin. The day that the episode 6 came out, B Ray, our boy B Ray, photographer, media guy for the Hawks, works for the Hawks.
Shout out to a savage.
Yeah, he tweeted a picture of me and Kevin from long ago, circa 2013. In this picture stands from Iowa, Tyler Kluver, Kevin Ward, who you look like you're high in this picture.
Dude, I had my hair grown out back then. It was just bad.
Justin Joyce, who
is a mega stallion.
Yeah, we can talk about Joyce for hours in other episodes. Justin Joyce was a backup quarterback, walk-on, stayed with the program for about 3 years, then turned into like a coach's assistant and helped out. Absolute dorm room legend. Me and Drake lived right across from him and his roommate Alex Wellick, who, I mean, God, I don't even know if the stories can be told. Eric, what's this guy's name? Berkeley. Berkeley. What was his last name?
Grimm.
Berkeley Grimm.
Shout out to massive.
He's got a massive lip in. He has a full can of dip in his lower right lip, and love and life. Alden Hafar, legend, and Akram Wadley, because Akram Wadley had a hurt hand our freshman year. One of those players turned out to be really good for the Hawkeyes, and it was Akram. So in this picture, the context of this picture, we were playing LSU in the bowl game that year. And for those of you that didn't see this on Twitter, maybe I'll retweet it, but LSU sent some players and we sent some players to go to the hospital, and those two sets of players took a picture together. Let me tell you who's in this picture from LSU. Zach Mettenberger. Standing next to him is a huge lineman that got drafted and is still in the league, I'm pretty sure. Standing next to him is a linebacker that got drafted and is still in the league, I'm pretty sure. Standing next to him is a fullback who was he was just as wide as he was tall, and I'm pretty sure he got a shot in the league. Standing next to him is OBJ, and standing in front of OBJ is Jarvis Landry. So clearly, the universities were on different wavelengths when they were picking the people to send to this.
So let's just back it up here. We get told that we're going to go visit some kids because, you know, the time that we have to go visit them is during practice time. So what do the coaches do? I mean, we're not going to take guys out of practice. So we send the injured guys, myself and Akram. Akram had a hand. I had just had shoulder surgery, and the specialists, because they don't do shit anyways. And
True.
yeah, LSU shows up with their all-pro offense and defensive players. And I just, so we're going around from, you know, room to room, and I have to go try to sign autographs next to Odell Beckham Jr. I'm just like, kid, please don't let me sign this. I'm going to deface the value of this ball exponentially. Like, I have no idea what to do right now because I am a freshman, fourth string safety who's in a sling and doesn't know which way is up. And I'm next to a, you know, first team All-American, first round draft pick, Pro Bowler, wide receiver. Yeah. And we're signing the same paraphernalia for these kids.
OBJ in the picture is kind of looking over off to the side like, damn, they really sent these guys, huh?
Yeah, like he's
we're about to win.
We're about
yeah, he was sitting there like, we're about to win this game, yo. Like, I don't know who these guys are. They sent the managers. I'll tweet the picture
like
tomorrow.
In that picture, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, if you take Akram out of the picture, I will zoom in and tweet the picture of the other 5 Hawkeyes. Dead ass. For those that didn't know we were in the program, you would think, oh, they sent the managers. That's awesome. So that's a story that kind of arose. We're already, you know, we're pretty decent at shooting the shit. We're 47 minutes into this, and we can kind of wrap this up. Those were a couple good Q&As from the Twitter from last week. We can finish this up by talking about Illinois. I don't know shit about Illinois.
I mean, Illinois is terrible. They've been terrible. They have been just getting run over this year by everybody.
They did 2 weeks ago. They beat the shit out of Minnesota. Like,
oh yeah,
absolutely beat the.
Who then last week beat the shit out of Purdue.
Which how the fuck
beat us? Which doesn't make any sense. Like football is just so goofy.
Parity in the Big Ten.
Oh man,
I'm telling you.
With Purdue losing last week, if the Hawks had just won,
we had a chance.
They'd have such a good chance. All they need was
Wisconsin to lose to either
Minnesota or
Purdue or Minnesota, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
And like one other thing to happen. But that's gone because Anyway, Illinois, like you said, they're trash. They're not good at all. We should win this game. Then again, we should have won the last 3 games. We should have won every game this year. The talent is there. We're more We're more talented than this team, which is
rare.
Excluding this year is a rare thing for Iowa teams to be able to say going into a game. We work harder than this team. We prepared better than this team. If Iowa doesn't win this week, the washed up Walkons might have to take a week off because we've been trying to feed you guys the juice. And at this point, we're on a Jake Gervais level of fake juice.
Yeah, and we don't want to feed you guys fake bullshit. Like if we're not excited to
you guys can
do these things,
you guys can hear it. For those of you who are still here right now, 50 minutes into this podcast, you guys can hear that this week we're not as energetic. We don't have as much to talk about. This isn't going to be one of our better episodes. Probably it's not going to do as well because simply we're running a podcast with a theme that kind of goes along with the tides of how Iowa football is going, and Iowa football is in the fucking shitter right now. And so it's tough, but we still put together 50 minutes. We're trying to wrap this up. We got a decent little hour. You guys listen to us talk about things. I still haven't told my story about almost killing Kevin on a jet ski. That'll have to happen another time because I'm not going to tell it now. It needs to come out in a good setting. But
well, here's what I know about the Illinois game is that today when the bookie that I use sent me the line that it was -16 is what he was taking the bets at, -16 on the Hawks. I told him I didn't love it. I don't love it because of the way that the season has gone. I know the guys are going to be enthusiastic to play, and like that's not going to change. But it's hard to be completely enthusiastic and gassed up to play and focused when you walk into a stadium. And first off, it's going to be fucking cold, and it's always windy up there.
Horrible.
And then they're going to walk into a stadium where there may be 10,000 people in the sumbitch. And it feels like you're back in high school playing, except for it's even worse because the fans aren't even passionate that are there. It's just dull. Like, I texted them today. I said, I didn't even want to come out of that locker room at halftime. Like, it's a good thing Coach Brian got in all of our asses because I was one of those guys that was like, can we just get this thing over with? Like, the crowd's dead. Like, you would have needed hearing aids to hear a fucking applause. I mean, it was worse than playing at Brady Street Stadium against Davenport West when I was in high school. It was just fucking miserable to be there. So, like, all those things don't bode well for the Hawks to blow them out. But, I mean, for the love of God, like, if we don't win this game, like if this isn't just a right-in game, like, I put my life on it. I don't know. Like it has to be. It's just a Hawkeye win. Like this, there's no scenario where this one doesn't go our way. I just don't know if it's our way by 17.
Yeah, the Hawks are going to win this game. We'll get to the line in a second. You mentioned your bookie. Speaking of bookie, that reminds me of mybookie.ag, not a sponsor for this podcast, at least yet. They are a sponsor for Pat McAfee's podcast, who likes to steal guests, George Kittle. Shout out. You'll be on eventually. However, it reminds me of sponsors, people listening. We may or may not. I'm in contact with a potential sponsor, an actual big time sponsor, something that we can actually put out there and be pretty cool about. Anchor, the place that we put these podcasts up on, contacted us with this. They came to us. They are working with a new sponsor kind of platform to integrate into episodes. We still don't know all the details yet, but this is actually could very possibly be a legit sponsorship. And that's very exciting for us. Very cool. That being said, is the line -16? Hawks -16?
Yeah, that's what I
got betted down to 14.5.
Down to 14.5?
Yeah.
I haven't even. I can't. I'm literally formulating my opinion about this right now, and I'm stuck.
So here's my feelings behind this: is that I know the Hawks are going to win. That's not in the discussion.
In the bank.
That there's no realm of possibility do the Hawks lose here. I just, because of all those things, I don't know how much I love the line, but what I can say is that without a shadow of a doubt, I trust the Hawks to turn this one around. And I trust them to win the last two games because I know these kids. We all know these kids, and we were close to them, and we know how bad they want it. We know how badly that they want to turn this thing around, how hard they've been working. And we all trust the coaching staff. Like if there was one dude who I had to pick to grab my hand if I was falling off a cliff, like it very well may be Brian Ferentz. Like, because I know if I'm not letting go, he's not letting go, and he's not going to let go of this season, and he's not going to let go and let these kids down. So I know that he's preparing with everything he has. Same with Coach Parker, and I know these guys want to win. So, I'm actually kind of talking myself into -14.5 being a good line because I know just how bad everybody wants to go out there and put their best foot forward.
Yeah, it's not enough for me. I just the past 3 weeks, I can't trust them. I see like a 10 or 13 point win here. Here's my thing with the cold weather. Games they're just not going to be as explosive, and things aren't going to happen as quickly when the weather's so cold. as you saw last week, 14-10 game. I don't even know if there's enough points scored to get to that kind of margin. I don't know. At this point, I'm not taking the Hawks to cover.
The thing is, the reason I kind of like it here is because we know that Illinois' offense is not very good, and I would definitely expect for our defense to show up ready to play. Coach Parker's going to have those dudes fired up. Coach Wallace is going to be in their ass. Like, everybody's going to be ready to go. Illinois has a bad offense in a bad environment with some cold weather and likely some wind. We may be seeing another game where Illinois can't get it across the damn 50.
Here's the thing: if the Hawks have the Hawks have the ability to win by 50 points. I mean, no doubt they could go out and win by 50. It's just, are they going to? At this point, for me, it's a no cover for me. Drake, you got them covering. Kevin, what do you think?
All right, here's my take on this week's fiasco. We got the Illinois Fighting Illini, who are just a dog shit program.
Here we go.
My father,
Lovie Smith, left the NFL. Well, did he get fired or did he leave?
I think he got fired.
All right. Well, Lovie Smith got fired. Looks like it was for a reason, because he's still got a dog shit Illinois program, even though he was the coach of the Bears for a long time. So, like, he must really not know what he's doing, but whatever.
Like I was saying before Drake rudely interrupted me.
Yeah, I was going to say, Drake, you're stealing Kevin's fire.
My bad. I'll shut up. I'll just turn my mic off.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even need you the rest of the podcast. We're about to sign off right after.
He actually turned it off.
All right, fuck it. I'm out. I'm done. It's off. Bye.
Okay, yeah. Bye, Drake. My take on this game. Yeah. Illinois Fighting Illini are a terrible, terrible program. They have been for the last few years. My dad is alumni. He played at the Rose Bowl there back in the 80s. And he even thinks it's a dog shit program now. He hasn't, even thought about cheering for them in years. Coach Ferentz always preaches how tough it is to win a D1 football game, especially a Big Ten game. But these guys just aren't good. They're not good at football. No. They play poor discipline. They're not a very tough team. To be honest, I'd be surprised if the Hawks don't cover. They haven't played extremely well the past 3 games, but they've played good teams the past 3 games and played them really tight. Like we said last week, each game has been 2 to 4 plays away from being a win. And we have an opponent this week that isn't good, but these guys, I can't imagine taking them lightly. I mean, after losing 3 games in a row, you can't really take anyone lightly. So they're going to be prepared. They're going to come out and play. Drake was one of those guys that complained about the environment. You're playing a Big Ten football game. What more could you ask for? It's the most, it's one of the funnest things to do in the entire world, is to win a Big Ten football game and be in the locker room with your guys afterwards. So I'm saying the Hawks come out, take care of business, dominate on the line of scrimmage, both sides. And, I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Parker rolls an egg up there on the scoreboard for the Illini. So I'm taking the Hawks cover. So I'm going to hammer the Hawks by 1 million. That's all I got.
All right, you heard it there. 2-1 again. I get outvoted on the spread of 14.5. That's what we're going at.
Hawks by 1 million. Fucking millions.
Okay, that's Drake. He's back. I knew that was going to happen. Now I have something to promote to the people, that they can listen all the way till an hour mark, because Drake comes in with some spitfire. If you guys haven't yet, go to washedupwalkons.itemorder.com and get your Washed Up Walk-Ons gear now.
Order our shit because it's cool.
Yeah, wow. You guys have 5 days left till Monday at midnight, 11:59 p.m. Monday at midnight, to get our stuff. It's going to be sweet. Next year, Kinnick is going to be rocking with the HBAM. That's what I like to call it. Hawks by 1 million gear. It's going to go even bigger next year. We're going to do it even bigger. There's going to be more designs. It's going to be great. You guys have 5 days. This weekend, we'll be running a little contest promotion. Details of that will be on my Twitter. Make sure to follow me there at Tyler Kluver. Self-plug. That was brilliantly executed. On the final day, there will also be a special giveaway that you guys will not want to miss. Go get our stuff. It's amazing. If you want to donate, again, PayPal, Venmo, sub, buy our stuff, or don't. We just are so thankful that you guys are here listening to us. Hopefully you felt the grind through this hour that we just put together. It's kind of where the Hawks are at right now. We don't have much more to say. We'll be back next week to discuss the Illinois game and then preview the last game of the season. That should be a good one when we take on that team from South.
Those fucking losers over there in Lincoln. I hope we beat them by 60, those dumb cocksuckers.
All right, folks.
Y'all have a good day. That's all we got.
Run the score to the fucking moon. Hawks by 1,000,000, baby.
Go Hawks.
All right, everybody, go Hawks. We'll see you next time.